Israel, what's going on, how it happened, why it happened, and how is it going to affect us? Welcome, friends. This is pretty much scary stuff. What do we know? So Israel, 9.3 million people in Israel. Okay, on the 7th of October, 6:30 in the morning, 2 to 5,000 rockets. All of this is really sketchy, unconfirmed. We don't really know. Were fired from Gaza into Israel. A coordinated attack. This took some planning, seriously. Now, this figure is going to rise, obviously. This was a few hours ago. Been looking into this all morning. Over 1,000 people killed. Hundreds of hostages were taken from Israel into Gaza. Now, Hamas fighters also, have you seen footage that parachuting into Israel? Paragliding into Israel? It's just unbelievable. Who would have thought that this could happen to Israel, one of the strongest military units in the Middle East? I smell rats big time. I don't know about you guys, how you feel about all of this. But we're going to read on. Also, once all of these parachutists and stuff are going on, snatch squads, as it were coming into Israel, taking as many hostages as possible. There is reports of a great big, like a rave or a party going on. Unfortunately, bad things happened there, and we've probably seen things on social media about some of the deaths and injuries with all of this. As always, with all of this sort of news breaking constantly, it's very, very hard to get figures, and I don't really like quoting figures, but we can assume that it's a lot more than we probably realise, which is absolutely horrific what's going on. As we know, in Israel, people are not allowed to carry guns, but the police and military are. Hamas, etc. over in Gaza. Who knows? We go right back to when America pulled out of Afghanistan, leaving over $6 billion of military hardware, just left it there. There's also ties between Afghanistan, Iran, and Hamas. And we have been seeing these rockets have a lot longer range than they've usually had in previous attempts on attacking Israel. Lots of things are changing. This is very fluid, and no doubt this story is going to evolve daily. I see so many things happen. Also, it's been made aware and come to my attention that weeks before this attack, we had Hamas terrorists already in Israel under the guise of police, farm workers and builders. Fake IDs, all of the rest of it, they were already over there. And they must have had a message from somewhere, a coordinated attack at the same time, and they indiscriminately started killing civilians all over Israel. So, obviously this is planned. So what can we do? We need to learn from what's happened here. We need to fully understand what's happening in our own countries. Now, I've spoken about this on numerous videos. In the USA, the UK and Europe, we are being invaded stealthily with these migrants. No joke. You have to be blind not to see it. Also, this is really ramping up because the USA is currently sending naval battle groups to the conflict zone as we speak right now. Like I say, this is a fluid story, and it's constantly evolving and changing, and I'm going to keep my eye on this because I remember a long time ago a few people said whatever happens in the future, always keep one eye on Israel. And this, with all of the timings, I mean, this attack was like a 50th anniversary. It's off the back of one of their most holiest ceremonies and stuff which has been happening in Israel. And yes, like I said, 6:30 in the morning, the sirens happened, and it's just been complete chaos. Real SHTF stuff. This is genuine. Now, also, this was breaking news. This was probably around 12 o'clock today. Israel announced of a total blockade in Gaza. When you look at what that definition actually means, it means no electricity, no gas, no food, no water. Now, when you think about that actually happening, I suspect that that is in place right now, making of this video, which is 1 o'clock today. This video will go up this evening. So what do I expect to happen just before and during this blockade, which has just been announced by Israel? I suspect that there will be elite units, special forces, not just from Israel, but from Israel's friends around the globe, going into Gaza, trying to rescue as many hostages as they possibly can. Once they've done as much as they can and got as many hostages out of Gaza, I feel that Gaza will be flattened. Millions, thousands, however many people are in Gaza. Obviously, not everyone's a bad guy. There's going to be good guys living there, Palestinians, etc. This is going to get real ugly real fast. So what did I mean when I said earlier about what can we learn from this? Okay, think about all of the migrants that are over here now. And it is absolutely impossible to try and understand the true figure of how many migrants from the Middle East who are now in countries all over Europe, the UK, and of course USA, and in Canada too. What do you think is going to happen? Like I said, I've spoke about this so many times, and so many people accuse me of fear porn and clickbait and all of that stuff. This isn't fear porn. This is real. Okay, this potentially could happen on our lands here in the West. Nobody really knows when, but I feel that it is going to happen at some point. Like I say, I don't know when. So what can we do? All we can do is try to prepare as best we can and do anything you possibly can to leave the cities. I've been saying this for years now. If I can do it, you can do it. Many people that I know have already done it. And yes, there's going to be ties. There's going to be like, my kids are school, got family here, etc. I can't afford it. All of these things, you need to find a way. That's my advice to you. Because one day there will be an attack on our Western civilization with these migrants or fighting age males. Okay, they're already here. I've seen videos earlier today of some of these migrants in cafes here in the UK opening envelopes and taking out their sort of ID, work permit, whatever it is they get, citizenship if you will. That enables those guys to go and get jobs in companies and stuff where we are working right now. And who knows, maybe at some point, maybe over the next 2 or 3 years, maybe this year, next year, no one really knows, they get an alert and they start doing exactly what's just happened in Israel. It's a scary, horrific thought. I don't want to talk about this, but I feel in the prepping community, we need to sort of really be aware of what is going on, okay? There's all sorts of reports in the past of some of these migrant camps here in the UK being monitored by veterans here in the UK, and some of the findings coming out of those reports and surveys are shocking. It does appear that we are slowly being invaded. And yes, I know, even when I say that, it sounds hard to believe, but I really feel it's true. This is happening. It's a slow Trojan horse moving into our Western countries. Now, what has been happening in Israel has been truly horrific. A long time ago, when I served a short stint in the military, it was conventional warfare. So you had battlefields, etc., taking over small towns, and it was literally uniform against uniform. The game's changed. Since Gulf War, things have changed. We are looking at pretty much guerrilla warfare now. And it's impossible to know who to trust. People are using tactics where, like we've just been discovering earlier, people are going in disguise, embedding sleeper cells, if you will, into these communities. And all it takes is planning, training, and the motive. And once that alert has been put out, I do feel that we are going to be seeing absolute SHTF on our streets. Like I said, not just here in the UK, all over the Western world. We have been having reports already of last night in London. We have been seeing protests, pro-Palestinian protests all over London, and some Jewish communities have been attacked already. Now, this I can foresee slowly getting more and more frequent, because this news is literally like it started 3 days ago, and we all know what happened in Ukraine when all of that kicked off, etc. And obviously it's just spiraling out of control, and it's very, very hard to know exactly what is going on because there's so much fakery out there. So when we learn these information reports of how these attacks happened, you've got to question, how did all of this happen in Israel? Apparently there was a diversion. I think it was over in the northeast of Israel, with it almost looked like a Hamas uprising near the border. Lots of Israeli troops were drafted towards that region, and of course everything else happened simultaneously at exactly the same time all over Israel. And like I said, 9.3 million people, civilians, men, women and children. It's horrific. Like I said, this isn't battles like they used to be, like back in World War One and World War Two. This is different. Now, all we can do is to keep our eyes and ears open, talk to friends from all over the country and indeed all over the US and Europe, to find out what they're seeing. Like I've always said, using intuition. What does it feel like when you are witnessing comings and goings and strange things happening over night time, with kit and equipment being moved around and all these sorts of things? This is a crazy video to make, and I don't like doing it, and I know I'm going to get accused of fear porn, but the last thing anyone wants is someone to truly believe that this is fear porn and all of a sudden they're in a situation where it's going down. It's not a case of I told you so, but we are trying to help as many people as possible, especially with situational awareness. Now, we really need to be on point now. If you are living in an urban populated area, you really do need to make sure that you are aware of your immediate surroundings. Don't be that guy or girl to walk around looking down on their phone and not seeing what's going on around them. We need to get ready, we need to prepare, and we need to start asking lots of questions, forming communities, and trying to make a way that is safe for us and our loved ones. Don't forget, we are not just preppers, we are aware preppers. As and when more information and intel comes out of what's going on in Israel and indeed London, not so much London, we are looking at other areas like Birmingham, for example. We really need people like boots on the ground to see what is going on. Don't forget, if you need to send me an email about what you're seeing and hearing here in the UK, Europe, USA and Canada, the email address is below this video. Now, you guys take care. Thanks for watching. Stay funky.